In round 11 of the World Blitz Championship 2023, the stage is set for a fascinating clash between World No.1 Magnus Carlsen and India's rising star Nihal Sarin. Magnus begins the game with a flexible queen's pawn setup, and Nihal responds solidly with c6, steering the position toward Karo-type structures. After d4 and d5, Magnus advances with e5, gaining space and fixing the central structure early. Nihal's bf5 is thematic, developing the light-squared bishop before locking the pawn chain. Magnus keeps the position restrained with b2 and nf3, prioritizing king's safety over immediate confrontation. The early c5 from Nihal challenges the center directly, and after c3 and the exchange on d4, the structure becomes symmetrical but slightly more pleasant for white due to the space advantage. Moves like Na1 and Na4 show Magnus' typical long-term planning, rerouting pieces to more effective squares rather than seeking tactics. Nihal remains patient with Ng7 and h6, maintaining flexibility. After bh7 and nc5, white's knight lands on an excellent outpost, exerting pressure on b7 and d7, giving Magnus a small but stable edge, reflected in the modest evaluation. In the second line, Nihal chooses a classical e5 response, allowing Magnus to enter an open central structure after d4 and exd4. Magnus recaptures with the knight, achieving smooth development and central presence. Nihal's bc5 and bb6 aim to preserve the bishop pair, but Magnus calmly expands with nc3 and a4, gaining queenside space and discouraging b5 ideas. The queen move qe2 supports b3 and keeps options open. After ng7 and b3, Nihal exchanges on e3 to reduce pressure, but Magnus' queen recapture keeps harmony in the position. The aggressive f4 signals white's intention to seize space and possibly launch a kingside initiative. Nihal's decision to grab on b3 slightly damages white's structure, yet it also opens files and gives Magnus dynamic compensation. With 0-0, black completes development, but white's central control and spatial advantage still give Magnus comfortable play. In the final position, Nihal opts for a French defense setup with e6, leading to a tense and strategic battle. Magnus advances with e5 and f4, clearly aiming for a space-gaining, aggressive structure. Nihal counters immediately with c5, striking at the base of the pawn chain. The sharp nb5 and qxd4 sequence shows Magnus' readiness to enter complications if it yields structural or positional gains. The check nd6 plus forces black to give up the bishop pair, and after exd6, white emerges with an advanced passed pawn on d6 that can become a long-term strength. Nihal castles and accepts some structural weaknesses with axb6, but relies on piece activity and central counterplay. Magnus calmly continues with a3 and b3, consolidating his position and preparing to support the advanced pawn. Across all three lines, the pattern is consistent. Magnus with white applies slow, persistent pressure, prioritizing space and piece coordination, while Nihal defends accurately, keeping the evaluation close but allowing white a slight, enduring advantage.